The program is still this morning on ITV on independent television. Now, with the National Assembly fully constituted now, we'll have the Senate President, and of course we'll have the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and then we also have the Deputy Senate President and also the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Now, one other thing that played out after the inauguration of the 10th Assembly was the recess that honorable members had to embarked upon. And about a few days ago, they returned from the recess and they have to constitute the caucus leadership of these two chambers. As we speak now, we also understand that yesterday committees were set up. So you see that the National Assembly is fully set for plenary activities in the country. Well, one thing that seems to have greeted the announcement of the caucus leadership is the very contextual nature, you may want to say now, that some members had to give to the way their colleagues emerge. Take, for example, in the House of Representatives, where we're told that Honorable Julius Ihonwure of the All Progressives Congress has emerged as the majority leader, and that's our honorable from Edo State here. And we have the minority leader in the House of Representatives as Halim Abdullahi, APC Kogi, who is the deputy leader. And also too, we have Bello Kom, APC Gumbi, the chief whip of the House of Representatives. And also we have Adewumi Onanuga, APC Ogun, deputy chief whip. While we have the minority caucus leadership in the House of Reps as Honorable Kingsley Chinda, PDP Rivers, who is the minority leader. That's his position is very, very contextual now. And we also have Aliyu Madaki, NNPP, who is the deputy chief whip of the House of Representatives. Then we have Alisa, PDP Gombe, the chief whip now. And we have George Uzo Dinobi, Labour Party from Anambra, the deputy chief whip. That's for the House of Representatives. Then for the Senate, yes, for the Senate now, we have Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele from Ekiti State, who is the majority leader in the Senate, and we also have all that as it follows. Because of time now, gentlemen, you're welcome. I've got two guests here this morning to look at the issues, the reactions and counter reactions that have thrilled the way this caucus leadership emerged. We're so privileged after a very long while to bring back to you Morning Mike Modesty Ituasa. You're welcome to the program this morning on ITV. It's been a long time.
Yeah, the grace of God has been very sufficient.
You're welcome.
We have been so choked with different positive activities.
You're welcome.
It's a great pleasure. Viewers, good morning to all of you.
Yeah, and we have a foremost politician in a local government area of Edo State, Pharmacist Uyoriahe. So you're welcome to this program this morning on ITV. All right, so gentlemen, let's look at the issues now. The coming up of these various honorables into this caucus leadership. Very sensitive positions, you may want to say. Now, for the Senate President said that they came up as a result of consensus. But after that, we saw the reactions and counter reactions. The big question we ask is if consensus was reached for these honorable members to have emerged as the members of the caucus leadership now. So why the reactions and counter reactions, Morning Mike Modesty?
Well, thank you for the question. I think in the National Assembly, one shouldn't expect the peace you find in the graveyard. You should not expect, because it's a place where people are expected to talk the talk, pending how they feel about any situation, no matter what the discourse is. The leadership has been constituted, and if the Senate leadership had informed the people that it was a matter of consensus that led to what they did, and you now have some persons now dissenting, they are entitled to their opinions. If they are not too comfortable with it, they are free to express it. That is the spirit of democracy. But majority will always have their way, while the minority will have their say. Okay. It's as simple as that. Okay. So for the House of Reps, the same thing applies. You can't expect everybody, because you may be shocked that some persons may be angling to have a position, and unfortunately the position didn't get to them. And they may not take it in the spirit of sportsmanship. They will want to make their own ventilations by making out sound noise so that the people will know that they are not happy with it. It's the same thing everywhere. Even the family politics. If you play politics within your family circle, let's say you want to choose between father, mother, and all that, or maybe within the large family. People who will not be satisfied with also, they have the freedom. They are free to air out whatever they feel. But has that gotten any tangible effect on what is already existing as leadership at both the Senate and the House of Reps? I don't think so. And you know, politics is interwoven with politricks, with tricks. Politics is married to politricks. And the marriage of the two, you cannot divorce them.
Okay.
They are not divorceable.
All right, Famazesu Yoriaki, for a 10th assembly that has just been inaugurated, reactions and counter-reactions trailing the emergence of the caucus leadership. What does this portend for our democracy?
Just like my Oga here has just put it in a broad sense, if you look at the composition of that assembly, both houses of assembly, both the lower and the higher chambers, you will see that some minority parties, other than the two that we always knew, have come in there too to lay some stakes. And it is also part of the reason you see that some individuals within the party who maybe their party structure, some individuals within the House who their party structure did not favor to emerge, want to key into the presence of other minority parties there to also lay a stake. You know, like it happened during the Saraki era, when the party had an idea who they wanted to, those they wanted to emerge as, you know, principal officers in the House, only for certain tricks to be played, while some were at the conference center, some were in the House voting, and they did it with the support of the opposition party, as it were, the PDP. And Saraki emerged against what the party hierarchy wanted. So this time around now, you could see that there is a presence of other opposition, like the Labour Party, the constituency where I belong, have 8 senators present in the House, 35 House of Rep members in the lower chambers. And then you could see that they were also engaged. Some persons had thought that enlisting their support could make them emerge as against what the party hierarchy may have been expecting. So the idea of consensus may have been something that some within the party wanted to force down the throat of certain individuals. But they abandoned that and wanted to buy, to see whether they could buy into the other legislators from the other party to see if they can just overturn what's on ground. I know that. I think predominantly they didn't succeed, but yet they have their voice to say something and to express, you know, grievances one way or the other. And I think it's normal. I think they will get over it, and the House will continue.
Okay. All right, sir. Bonnie Mike Modesty. Now, for Honorable Kingsley Chinda, that's the Honorable from PDP Rivers, who is the minority leader now in the House of Representatives. His emergence, he does not enjoy the acceptance of his party members because of his closeness to the former governor of Rivers State now, Nyesom Wike. Now, for his party members, they have the opinion that because of the closeness of Nyesom Wike, or because of the perceived interests of Nyesom Wike in this APC government, that Honorable Chinda, that's Kingsley Chinda now, may have emerged as the minority leader. Now, what do you make of Wike's interest in this government? With the emergence of Chinda as the PDP minority leader in the House of Reps? In
politics, no permanent friend, no permanent enemy, but permanent interest.
Now, but we're talking about different political
Hold on, I'm driving somewhere. I'm driving somewhere. I repeat, in politics, no permanent friend, no permanent enemy, but permanent interest. Every political animal on earth, even we that are seated here, we have our interests. So for politicians, they always have their interests. Those who may be kicking against the emergence of the person you're talking about now have their interests, and their interests didn't say true. The person who has been so chosen, is he a member of the House of Reps? Yes. The person who has been so chosen, is he from one of the 6 geopolitical zones? Yes. The person who has been so chosen, is he eminently qualified to be so chosen by the rules of the House? Yes. So, if the party he's choosing from, the PDP, could they put their house in order, so to speak, to be able to outdo this particular person, no matter who the pillar is that is behind him, then they have to lick their wounds. Someone has emerged, and the person has creditably emerged. As far as I know, I stick to the fact that there's leadership in the National Assembly, in the House of Reps, where Chinda is occupying a prominent position. All those who are in the National Assembly, whether the Senate or the House of Reps, they all have their godfathers. But the interests of all godfathers cannot be met within the purview of few positions that are available. If politics is of permanent interest, politicians will always have their interest. And in some cases where the interests of many are not met, you couldn't tell a child that has been beaten not to cry. But after crying for a while, it will vanish, and the child will continue to play as usual. Nonetheless, I don't think whether it's Wike's interest or not, Wike has not done anything wrong. If he has become a political bulldozer to be able to come from his political party, forming an alliance with the majority party, and is able to plant his Iroko trees here and there, nothing wrong about it. But presently, the person you're talking about, is he in APC? Is he from APC?
From PDP now.
He's from PDP. Yeah. Is he not representing PDP? He's representing PDP. Like Ella told you, politics is married to politics. You can never divorce them. All over the world, there is no politics without politics.
Okay. All right. Pharmacist Uyoriake, the perceived non-cooperation of other PDP members. PDP is in the minority in the House of Rep, and yet they have a minority leader who does not enjoy, who is not going to enjoy the perceived, who is not going to enjoy the support of his members. So who will he lead? Which PDP is he going to lead?
You know, in politics, like my friend said, we always talk about interest. Where I have my crowds is people are not willing to define this interest. They are national interest, common interest, and personal interest. In other climes, people look at it from the perspective of, national interest, common interest, probably a localized interest that has to do with defending the rights and privileges of your people or upholding their well-being. Now, what we have here in the House is personal interest. I'll show you. And that is why when you deal with issues of personal interest, the debate is more heated, the animosity is higher, and the untoward effect is also very devastating. But actually, the average politician in Nigeria is a very, very selfish entity. And what we see here now is there are some persons who, Mr. Chinwo's party, the PDP would have preferred to be there because of certain interests that's also aligned to them. But they are not having him, and they do not trust this one because they feel that this one will do more the biddings of a certain big politician, if I may mention his name, former Governor Wike, and there's this battle here and there. Now, I want to make a remark that this in no way projects the interest of the people. That's my grasp, that's my concern, that's the way I choose to look at it. It does not project the interest of the people. It projects the interest of these immediate actors who are involved in all of this imbroglio. And that is the pain. It will snowball into some other excesses that will not bode well for our nation eventually.
Yeah.
That's what we are, because they need a measure of cohesion to be able to face the business of these times. The executive, in their willing nature, will want to also key into this and see how they can divide the house and get certain things done without being made to account. And that is what I see, because these people are always about their personal interest, you know, until politicians in our country learn to understand that no matter how you look at it, the people sent you there. It is the interest of the people that you should continue to protect. You know, it will always be reduced to this, because in all of this that they are doing, there is no special reference made to those who elected them into those offices, you know, to let us know what they are doing. The party in itself has special interest in the matter, which is also limited to their own desk.
Which party now? The PDP?
The PDP. Like that, the APC, PDP, all of them. They themselves who are projecting certain individuals, key actors in the party, already envisage what they will profit from having this individual. As against having this individual. Why the other big man called Wike is saying, no, I am a relevant man in this thing. I have dealt with people here and there. I have changed the configuration of the political party, and I must have my person there at this point in time. In all of these, the people are not mentioned. In all of these, the people are not mentioned. The people's agenda is not on the table right now. It is power play. Let's struggle for power. Let's hold on to power. Let's hijack power. Let's use politicking of all sorts to hijack this power and let it be here. The people, in as much as I'm not against that game being played the way they are playing it, my grounds has always remained. The people do not come in at any level, at any point.
All right, so Money Mike, I'll just give you 1 minute to round up quickly.
Well, we are all entitled to our opinions, depending on the perspective from where we are extreme, wherever we are extreme. The national leadership of the National Assembly has been constituted. Those who may be bickering here and there for over one thing or the other will time the war fizzle out. Do recall that when Elumelu in the last House of Rep was to be made the PDP leader, so to speak, there were uproars here and there. At the end of the day, Elumelu was said that Elumelu was not going to have the confidence of the PDP members in the House of Reps, and that they were not willing to do business with him. But eventually, they settled their differences, and they moved on. So as far as the National Assembly is concerned right now, I think all things being equal, they will say true. The national interest, the people's interest is all enveloped in the National Assembly in whatever they are doing. Even when you want to do ordinary election, community leadership election, there will be struggles here and there. But after the elections, the interest of the people should be at the front burner. And that's what I'm expecting.
Okay, all right.
Wike has become an octopus, political octopus. And let me tell you that the long story cut short, in all of this, whatever position you get, if God's hands is not in it, it will just before you know it, everything will vanish.
Okay,
because the interest of the people must be superior to every other interest.
All right, so I want to say a very big thank you to Money Mike Modesi for coming on the show today, and also foremost politician in Igor, pharmacist to Yorek, a very big thank you. Now, the issues are still developing. The list is not said yet about this whole thing. Yesterday, committees were set up, and chairmen of various committees were pronounced. And let's see how the whole thing pans out as this whole thing continues to build up in the National Assembly. I think this is where we draw the curtain on the program today, this morning on ITV. My name is Evan Sunokoge.